do this video for you to go over deadlifts, some tips, tricks, and just basically break it down a little bit because it's a really good exercise. So I want to make sure you get it right. So first things first, stance under the bar. A really easy way to find your stance is just do a couple of jumps in the spot. Wherever your feet land, that's pretty much a neutral position for your feet, which is you want to be hip width really. So that's what my feet are now. You notice I'm not wearing any shoes. Take your shoes off. In the video I saw you had some shoes on. The problem with shoes are that most trainers are designed for comfort, so they have a sole with some like a spongy air to make walking more comfortable or running more comfortable. And if you have that, when you start lifting heavy on a deadlift, that imbalance in the sole can cause you to go left or right a little bit. Only minor movements, but when you've got a lot of weight on the bar, that can cause injury in your spine, so we don't want that. So no shoes, just socks, feet hip width apart. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come down here, you're going to hinge. Obviously you've got two places to hinge. You're going to hinge at your hip and you can hinge at your knees. They're the two hinges we're going to be working on a deadlift. So I'm going to hinge at the hip and I'm going to move my arms down. Now, I noticed in the video you sent me, you had your hands at what's called an overhand grip. Some people use an overhand, some people use an underhand, very unusual. But what I want you to use and what I would always recommend would be a mixed grip. So one hand over, one hand under. The reason for that is if you do an overhand grip, the bar tends to travel away from you, which then causes you to lean forward. And if you do an underhand grip, the bar tends to be too close, and it's a slightly different movement. Whereas the mixed grip, you're keeping the bar line, the bar path directly up your body. So mixed grip, which hand you use as over and under makes no difference, so just play around a bit till it feels right. Obviously to warm up before you do deadlifts, it's a posterior chain movement, so you need to warm up your glutes, your hamstrings most importantly, probably your shoulders, get your heart rate going a little bit, but certainly your glutes and your hammies are the things you want to warm up before you start, and obviously some warm-up sets would help. The movement itself, when I get into position here, my feet are in position, I want my arms to be so my knees are just touching my elbows, like this. So not out here, that's going to be too wide, and not in so far that they're kind of in the way of your legs. Just here. Now if you notice my shins are pretty much perpendicular to the ground. You don't want it to be bent over too much. You want to be like this. And most importantly, you see my back at the moment is rounded. What I want to do is that. So I want to brace my back, have a neutral back, which is the angle my back's in now. Because if I lift like this, you can see, if I do that, you can see the difference between this and that. That's the back you want to lift with a deadlift. And what you want is a hinge, so you want your legs and your back to work at the same time. A lot of people, they lift, they'll do back and then legs, or they'll go legs and then back. We need it to be together at the same time, which will then allow you to lift heavier. So, set up position. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push my knees back a little bit whilst holding onto the bar, which is going to load tension into my hamstrings, which then I'm going to use that tension and that power to release it and then drive off the ground, okay? All you're doing essentially is just standing up. Your arms are levers, you're not pulling the bar with your hands, you're pushing the ground away with your feet, and you're just standing up, all the way up to lock your hips out straight, so clench your bum at the top, and then you're just putting it down again. But you do have to put it all the way down. So I'll do one rep. So I'm going to load my hamstrings up, I'm going to look up, breathe in, brace my core, drive up, put it down again. That's one deadlift. There is no gain in slowing the eccentric part of the movement. So if I do this, that's not what we want to do. The power and the lift comes from lifting off the ground and then just putting it down. You can drop it if you want to, and you would probably drop it if you're going really heavy, but in powerlifting world, if you drop it, it doesn't count. So let's try and get into the habit of putting it down. Multiple reps, two ways of doing it. The better way, I think, is probably getting yourself into position every time. So get yourself set up, chest up, look up, breathe in, up, down, readjust, up, down, readjust, up, down. Or you can go touch and go, which is what I said, which is where you're not readjusting each time, So you do need to make sure your form is banging. Otherwise, the fatigue will start encroaching in your lift. So touch and go means this. That's touch and go. So it depends what you want to achieve. I don't mind you going touch and go, but you need to make sure the form is good. Just a reminder that I don't want to see you doing this. So going up and then controlling the weight down, and certainly don't want to see you stopping here and then go back up again. You will injure your lower back doing that. So, cart to the bar, feet in the right position, hip. I'm going to bend down here, hinge at my hips, mixed grip, arms to the knees, chest up, look up, breathe in, drive through your legs, and put it down. That's a deadlift. I hope that makes sense.